Moss is the most talented wide receiver that God ever made.
Forget the numbers. I don't care. I don't care. I'm telling you, I don't care nothing about them numbers. I'm talking about what they did on the field and how they transcended the position.
Did you not see Jerry?
What?
Did you not see Jerry?
Have you seen Moss and T.O.? I hate this number game when it comes to talent and skill set and how, like, Randy Moss and T.O. clear every fucking body.
If you hear anyone listing out their Mount Rushmore of wide receivers, you can bet that you're probably going to hear Randy Moss's name on it. From the minute he set foot on the gridiron, he was an absolute machine. I mean, hell, it took him 7 years to fail to crack 1,000 yards, and that was because he missed 3 games in that season. Then just a few years after that, at 30 years old, he set a new NFL record with 23 touchdowns in a season. The dude was absolutely unguardable, uncatchable, and unstoppable, securing his status as potentially, if not the greatest wideout of all time. I mean, truthfully, as fans, we'll never really understand what it's like to go up against somebody like Randy Moss. So in today's video, we're going to hear what NFL legends have to say about him.
Most talented wide receiver ever born was Randy Moss.
Okay. You think he had more talent than Megatron?
He can run better with the football. He could avoid people. Megatron got into too many collisions. That's why he got hurt. Randy Moss is the most talented wide receiver that God ever made.
And now, yes, that right there is Chris Carter. You know, the Hall of Fame wideout who spent 3 years on the same team as Randy Moss and is locked into the Vikings Ring of Honor alongside him. I think he goes down as a pretty reputable source, especially as the two have had some high-profile beef over the years, most notably when Carter said Moss had more quit in him than other star players. And yes, whether or not that's true, Carter saw Moss's talent up close and personal when the young wide receiver was drafted to learn behind him in 1998. What then followed was a truly epic career, and Carter had a front row seat to watch the beginnings of it unfold. In that 1998 campaign, Moss exploded for 1,300 yards and a league-leading 17 touchdowns. If anyone, he was the biggest of platforms for the rookie receiver, and he delivered in a way that none of the vast crowd watching had ever seen before. I mean, of course, we have to talk about one player who had to watch helplessly as the young rookie destroyed his team as cornerback Deion Sanders, whose absence due to a toe injury no doubt aided Moss's outrageous stat line. Nevertheless, though, Sanders eventually got his chance to play against Moss, and you can bet that the Hall of Famer recognized the quality of his opponent.
This guy here changed the game in every aspect of changing the game. The week playing against Randy Moss, your defensive coordinators would go bald because they're telling you you don't understand how fast this guy is. You're on cover 2 after cover 2 after cover 2. The safeties are so far back that if he gets off the jam, beats one, and catches the slant, he's out of there. And Randy was a freak of nature. He had great hands. He could run every route, but the deep ball was everything. When he throw that hand up,
it's over.
It's over. And Randy felt like there's no one in the NFL could run with him and play with him. That's the way he thought about the game.
Because no one could.
And no one could.
And yes, of course, Deion isn't the only Hall of Fame cornerback to have to face Randy Moss either. Darrelle Revis, who is widely regarded as one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time, said this when he was asked who his toughest opponent was. And I'm quoting this where he said, "I'd probably say Randy Moss. He was probably the toughest guy for me to cover. The size, speed, and intelligence. Him being a player is amazing." When you align Moss with one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever probably played the game, it then gets even tougher. And yes, as you're probably aware, the greatest quarterback that Darrelle Revis is referring to is of course Tom Brady. Luckily for him, between 2007 and 2009, that's when the pair was together with the Patriots. At the sign of his signing too, Moss was coming off of the most disappointing 3-year stretch of his career, culminating in a poor 553-yard, 3-touchdown effort in Oakland in 2006. But Bill Belichick is the master of recognizing value in an opportunity, and what he initiated by bringing Moss into the building was a level of dominance this sport had never seen before. The Brady-Moss partnership combined for a massive 1,400 yards and an NFL record 23 touchdowns in 2007, their first season together. For Brady, it was the first time he had ever had the benefit of a dominating one receiver, and he absolutely made the most of it. His 4,800 yards, 50 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions set all sorts of records, including being the first ever quarterback to surpass 50 passing touchdowns. Brady then did go on to win the MVP award and led the Patriots to an unbeaten season, which, as we all know, infamously ended by a shock loss to Eli Manning's Giants in the Super Bowl. Still, what Moss and Brady did together was absolutely jaw-dropping and single-handedly ushered in a new era of NFL offenses.
Just think about what he did in his first season here as a New England Patriot. I swear, Tom Brady will always be Tom Brady, but Randy Moss made Tom Brady like untouchable. I feel like you know what I mean by that?
That was the first air raid offense era.
Yeah.
He took Brady to a whole next level. Same with Wes Walker. That duo right there in 07, 08, 09, they just took Brady to a whole nother level. They were scoring like no one's ever scored before in the NFL.
One of those players unfortunate enough to have to go up against Moss in that 2007 season was Miami's Channing Crowder. His story about how he felt going up against the GOAT says it absolutely all.
That 07 season with Moss, and they came down to Miami, bro. Moss was uncoverable. Somebody showed their hand. It wasn't me. I'm innocent, but somebody showed their hand, and Brady figured out it was one-on-one. And he looked over and he literally smiled at Randy Moss. And that was one of Moss's touchdowns that game in 07. I went to the sideline. I said, Coach, what would you like me to do in this situation? Pray? Do you want me to pray? Do you want me to look to God to see what's going on here? But that was one of the times that Brady Moss combination was one of those games where you're just like, this is unfair of what they can do on this football field.
And after setting the new Patriots franchise record for receiving yards in a season, but shockingly not getting the Super Bowl he deserved, Moss continued thriving in New England. 1,008 yards and 11 touchdowns came in 2008 before he hit 1,200 yards and a league-leading 13 touchdowns in 2009. Moss truly had it all, and partnering him up with the best quarterback in the NFL was simply just unfair. But not only did he have the best quarterback of all time, the dude also had arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time as well. Bill Belichick's status as a true NFL genius is without a doubt, and he coached up some incredible players over his long and illustrious NFL career. It is therefore significant that he has this to say about Randy Moss as well.
The smartest players I've ever coached, certainly the smartest receiver. He taught me more about receiving and a passing game than by far anybody else. You know, I remember our first meeting when you came in from Oakland, and I've never coached anybody like Randy Moss, and we were talking about single high safety and a running game and all that. And Randy's like, you ain't gonna see any more single high safety. You can forget about that. Like, all right.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, he's telling it.
And these sum up the two things that aren't as visible of Randy Moss on the tape: his IQ and his confidence. The guy was an absolute genius, always knowing where to attack his opposing defender and what coverage he was facing. And when you have such mastery of the game, you can afford to let people know about just how good you are.
They call me the freak, man. I'm gonna call you the freak because I'm a freak of nature. You're gonna see today, just keep your eyes glued to the TV.
And that's the thing, when we say Randy Moss is the complete package, we absolutely mean it. The only thing he had more of than swag and football IQ was his freakish athletic talent, which he had in droves. There wasn't a corner who could run with Randy, even as he slipped into his late 30s.
Chad O'Shea. Chad O'Shea took
I ain't going
Slate.
up against Randy Moss's speed, man. That's an all-time speed.
All right. So he said,
What was Randy's 40?
He ran like a 4.1, didn't he?
no, he ran 4.2.
Really?
I don't know if he ran, but he was fast.
We used to mess with
wasn't
Randy.
running. He floats.
He does float. It's
Floats.
crazy. Because Randy was, like 32, 33. We were spry. And Chad O'Shea used to mess with Randy all the time. Slate can beat you. Slate can beat you. Randy didn't like that.
Hated it.
He didn't like that, but that was fun.
And it wasn't just the speed that you got with Randy Moss though, how fast he truly was. Why? Well, because he was so damn fluid with his movements, and when it comes to catching the ball, no one did it better. Like, I mean, when you listen to an analysis on college wide receivers coming into the NFL, you'll hear scouts talking about their willingness to use their hands to go up and get the ball, rather than relying on their body to bring it in. And well, Randy Moss made that look easy.
Play action as Collins goes deep for Randy Moss, who goes up and makes the catch. Randy Moss, touchdown Oakland.
The backfield.
Oh, the hitch. Brady for Moss. Guarded back through. Another touchdown.
In fact, as we all know, he did it so often and so well that there's even a phrase for it now.
His name says it all. When you get mossed,
Yeah.
right? And he used to moss people. He was for a receiver. Jerry, Randy, T.O. There were guys, Steve. There were guys that when you played by yourself in the backyard, you were mimicking their moves. You were mimicking their catches. Not everybody has been that way, but those guys, including yourself, have been those guys. If you want to play wide receiver, those are the guys you mimic.
And that's the thing too. I think you've kind of made it when you have such an iconic phrase named after you, and surely Moss certainly was that. When explaining why the Moss experience never quite lived up to the hype in Oakland, legendary defender Warren Sapp blamed their usage of him and the fact that they were never willing to let him do what he does best: moss people.
They ran the hell out of Randy, man. They made this man run so many go routes in practice that it didn't make sense. And then Kerry Collins got there, and Kerry didn't want to throw him the ball because he didn't believe that this was open. When Randy did this, he was open. I said, Kerry, throw the ball. Warren, he's not open. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Either he's gonna catch it, they're gonna pass interference, or the ball's gonna hit the ground. They're not picking it off. Throw him the ball. He wouldn't throw it. He wouldn't throw it. He would not throw it.
Like, I mean, why bring in the GOAT if you're not going to let him do the very thing he's named after? Of course, New England was more than happy to tap into his unique skill set, and it damn near won them a Super Bowl immediately after that down the stretch with the Raiders. Like, I mean, truthfully, Moss really was an outrageous physical freak on the football field, bullying even the most physical.
Every field or court he's ever stepped on to play whatever game he's wanted to play, he's been the best athlete. That's his perspective. He doesn't know any other perspective. He doesn't know it any other way. I remember the very first practice, Randy was running a deep route, and I'm half ready to go and say, no, you can't do it that way. No, we need for you. And that burst of speed, that height, that leaping ability, the hands, and you started, I'm like, no, oh, okay, yeah, you do it that way. And you found out very early that, you know what, this guy truly is unique enough that we can do things with him that even from an experienced coaching perspective, common sense would say, no, you need to do that different.
As we all know, Moss rewrote the script with what was and what wasn't possible in the NFL. He made everything look easy, racking up 10 seasons with over 1,000 yards, culminating in a grand total of 15,292 yards upon his retirement. This still stands as the 4th highest of all time, earning him 4 first-team All-Pros, 6 Pro Bowls, and a Hall of Fame nod. On top of his record for most touchdowns in a single season, Moss holds the record for the most seasons with 17 or more touchdowns with 3, the most 1,200-yard seasons to start a career with 6, the highest yards per catch among players with at least 900 receptions with 15.6, and many, many more. Despite all his records though, the fact that there are still 3 guys ahead of him on the all-time receiving yardage leaderboard and that he has no Super Bowl ring to his name means the debate about whether he is the greatest wide receiver of all time has become a heavily contested one. For Chad Ochocinco, the numbers don't matter.
Randy Moss and T.O. are the greatest receivers to ever play in the history of this game. The greatest.
Based on what? What are you basing that on? What are you basing it on?
Just skill in general, being wide receivers. Forget the numbers. I don't care. I don't care. I'm telling you, I don't care nothing about them numbers. I'm talking about what they did on the field and how they transcended the
Did you not see Jerry?
What?
Did you not see Jerry?
Have you seen Moss and T.O.? I hate this number game when it comes to talent and skill set and how, like, Randy Moss and T.O. clear every fucking body.
So in a sport that is so driven by statistics though, does that argument hold up? Let me know in the comment section whatever you guys think and whether or not you believe Randy Moss is the greatest wide receiver the sport has ever seen.